Alrighty, everybody. So we have a space store has been hacked, and that is the ESA, which is the European Space Agency store. So people who may have purchased trinkets or memorabilia from the ESA web store may have their payment card and their personal information compromised. So let's get going with this one. And so the credits include going to Data Economy. And I went to Data Economy just to read the article on how hackers exploited the ESA's online shop to steal customer data. So it's a breakdown of what occurred. I went to Stripe just to see how Stripe worked and also to see if they had any information about it. I went to Bleeping Computer and read their article on the European Space Agency's hack as well. And of course, the images this time were created by Google Gemini, including the front slide and this background. All right, so the summary is that the European Space Agency, also known as ESA, their official web shop was hacked with malicious JavaScript code injected. This was done to generate fake Stripe payment page at checkout. The script collected payment card data. It looked very real, looked exactly almost like the ESA page, and was very difficult to detect. The attackers used a domain name similar to the legitimate store, but with a top-level domain, so they used .pix instead of .com, and then they stole the information. The ESA has stated that the store is not hosted on their infrastructure. The Sansec, an e-commerce security company, discovered the malicious script, and a group called Source Defense Research confirmed their findings, and customers who made purchases from the web shop are advised to monitor their payment card statements for unauthorized transactions, and the web shop is currently unavailable. When I checked it yesterday, it said temporary out of orbit and that they'll be back. All right, so who is the European Space Agency? They're also known as the ESA, and this is exactly from their webpage. The European Space Agency is Europe's gateway to space. Its mission is to shape the development of Europe's space capability and ensure that investment in space continues to deliver benefits to the citizens of Europe and the world. ESA is an international organization with 22 member states. By coordinating the financial and intellectual resources of its members, it can undertake programs and activities far beyond the scope of any single European country. So what is JavaScript? So we heard that they injected malicious code and they used JavaScript. So JavaScript injection refers to the technique of inserting or executing custom JavaScript code into a web page. It can be used for both legitimate and malicious purposes. And in this case, it was illegitimate or malicious. So what is a top-level domain? Top-level domain, you'll see the acronym TLD is the last part of the domain name. So if you're at ScoobyDoo.com, .com is the top-level domain after the final dot. In this scenario, the threat actor used .pix as the top-level domain instead of .com, which is used by the legitimate site. So some of the common ones are .com, .org, .gov. I think AI is one now. BUS. There's quite a few, but .com is probably one of the most well-known, and .pix probably is supposed to reference pictures. All right, Sansec. Sansec is the global leader in e-commerce malware and vulnerability detection. This came from their website. We help merchants to stay ahead of hacks. Sansec forensic investigators were the first to document the emerging fraud of online skimming in 2015 and have since been identified and analyzed more than 50,000 cases. And you can go to their website and get more information if you prefer. Prevention. So this is obviously not a long list of mitigations or ways to reduce the risk, but here's some things that you can do is customer awareness. It's really hard to educate people overall, especially when they don't have mandatory CBLs for customers, but customer awareness is very important. Segmentation, separate your sites and maybe even physically in this situation, and monitor for suspicious activity. And this particular incident, since it involves credit card payment, there needs to be PCI DSS compliance. And if you go, oh, what's PCI DDS? Well, it's credit card stuff. And so let's look it up. And if you go to PCI Standards, Security Standards Council, there's actually a site for it, and it tells you what it's about. And here it says PCI Security Standards Council is a global forum that brings together payments industry stakeholders to develop and drive the adoption of data security standards. And so if you collect credit card payment, you need to follow their standards. There's a long way to go here, and you can find a lot of information about it. PCI DSS was developed to encourage and enhance payment card account data security and facilitate the broad adoption of consistent data security measures globally. All right, and then you can dig down, and so you can see here, read more about the standards. It's pretty important to know that when people take your credit card information or digital payments, that there are standards that they have to follow. They just can't say, hey, what's your credit card number? So just be aware of that. And there's, like I said, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the big takeaway from this particular one. And again, hackers targeted the ESA store. Payment credit card details were compromised. If you have shopped at that place recently, please be careful and watch your stuff. And thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.